What I'm going to read to you tonight is an excerpt from a forthcoming novel. I can't believe I'm saying these words. It's been a long time coming. It's called Carlisle, Montgomery. And Carlisle, in her own words, is a 6'5", red-headed, pigtailed, gap-toothed, nine-fingered, guitar-playing freak. She fronts the live wires, which is a bluegrass band with a honky-tonk problem that they're not trying to fix. And the story concerns her assorted and occasionally sordid adventures, musical, sexual, and travel, which is the 1967 International Harvester truck that hauls the live wires around to their various gigs in Richmond and the contiguous states. The setting is the early 1990s, when the world was set between grunge and Garth Brooks, with occasional goth and noir in there too. And prior, of course, to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? She plays and performs and composes what Paige Wilson used to call purebred American mongrel music. This book, or this section, is called Framed Portraits. And being as we're talking about place, it's set in a place that might be familiar to some of you. The interview with Leo Bukowski for the Gigging Richmond Times, or the Grit, at the World Cup coffee shop didn't get started until after Arita Gallego, the small but spidery, spiky-haired photographer who hefted a sophisticated camera, preserved the live wires as they appeared in May 1995. The live wires knew from one time or another the heavy bearded writer. He'd just gotten past a break in the basic small talk when Arita interrupted to arrange musicians on the couch and chairs in the back reading nook. She sought to capture the drama of the late afternoon gulls splashing through the rear windows that threw against the wall shadow frames for each live wire. Her polite insistence came from knowing that a chance wind buffeting a cloud might ruin this perfect moment. Up left, tiny fiddler Laurel Gray, her serious face emphasized between two dark slashes of the silhouetted pane and the black bob underneath the trainman's cap. Beneath her, the left-handed guitarist Bruce Moody, cloaked by shadows that gave emphasis to his blue-gray eyes, a sheepish smile and a sheaf of full light brown hair. At right, Carlisle, the dark square surrounding her resembled a film still, and the sun shimmering into her braided cords of copper amber against a plaid shirt and highlighted the gap between her front two teeth. Expression she reserved for press pictures, for which Uncle Jimmy chided her, "Perk up, you're playing bluegrass for God's sakes, not playing a funeral." And despite a balladier's acceptance of her striking attributes that came later, Carlisle's self-consciousness often compressed her lips. Not this time, though. Positioned by Arita on the couch, arm for the pose rather than comfort, almost in Carlisle's lap, and peering over his round lens glasses as though considering mischief. High-browed, square side-burned, and side-patched upright bass player Weems Shackelford III. Seated on a stool forward in the lower left, the shaved head and magnificent cheekbones of percussionist C.P. Forsyth of African and Chickahominy descent, whose faint smile and the brow lifted so slight as to seem shaded by pencil. Arita Gallego thought the expression indicated that he knew both the joke and the story behind most everything. Before the live wire snatched him, C.P. backed up the art rock group Interrobang. He wore that shirt's old t-shirt bearing the strange punctuation symbol. Leo first heard Carlisle 4 years prior when she sang at a long, dark pub in Robinson Street called the Commercial Tap House. He came there on his way to Alley Cats in Shaco, but a friend told Leo to swing by the tap house to see this girl. Leo, who didn't mind seeing girls, nonetheless asserted his lack of enthusiasm for supplying his services as the designated friend. But this meant a ride to Alley Cats. Leo Bukowski heard the tone of her singing as he passed the street side window. Carlisle's voice made the door handle hum. When he walked in, the usual babble silenced. She on a stool and that big tailor. Leo, being a Richmonder, recognized the Vroom Vroom girl, and the name Carlisle Montgomery possessed a faint resonance. She sang of the two girls stranded on a country road where an old man tells them you can't get there from here. Though through the three refrains, each situation more absurd, until the fourth verse, and back to one of the young women and the commentary about love between them, one telling the other in no uncertain terms, you can't get there from here, or I can't love you that way. Not the most poetic language or profoundest of thoughts, but her playing and voice made the piece stand up. When she finished, the 30 or so people in the place gave her a smattering of applause. Leo, seated next to his buddy, heaved up in a struggle against his girth to stand and whistle. His demonstration caused some chuckles. Friend next to him said, "This is the girl I wanted you to see." "That's not a girl," Leo said. "That's a woman." Yeah, she's a 19-year-old woman, and that shut Leo up. But the instant conceived his affection for Carlisle and for music. She leaned toward a mic that didn't come up high enough and apologized, her voice softer and more regarding than when raised to song. I wasn't supposed to be a solo act tonight. Bruce Moody called in sick with stomach trouble. So all you get is me. Somebody at the bar called out, "You're plenty enough, honey. You got enough for a whole band." Leo chose to take the slurring exclamation in a positive way, though part of the spectrum of the meaning doubtless referred to Carlisle's height and an impossible pair of legs bared by ragged shorts and laced-up work boots. And here she stood, her sizable booted foot tapping time and hunched over the instrument that she slapped upon, both hands playing the frets, and Leo realized her missing ring finger. A few days after, Leo Bukowski described her voice as, quote, "the deep pillows or the big long porch swing of summer nights, where the cicadas are whirring and fireflies blinking." Her warmth and huskiness reminded him of Bonnie Raitt, mixed with Joan Osborne. Soaring in ballads, growling in blues, whispering in intimacy, switching between angry and tremulous to raucous and bawdy, neither effective nor imitated. In the World Cup, Leo told a story, and Bruce, arms crossed, smiled, rubbed his chin, recalled his illness as more contrived than real. This one didn't want to perform alone. I told her, "You can stand on any stage and keep their attention by yourself." Thing is, I just didn't want to. And she reached her arm behind Laurel to deliver a good-natured slap to the back of Bruce's head. He responded by grabbing her hand and twisting. "Whoa!" Weems cried and lifted his arms, and Laurel followed as though on a hilltopping roller coaster. CP said, "Laurel's too small to ride this ride." Leo asked why she preferred not to take the stage alone. Her bandmates laughed, except for CP, who cast a smile down toward his intertwined fingers. Carlisle's arm span allowed her to embrace her bandmates like parentheses. "I like being with these guys. They know where we want to go in the music. I love how we sound. Me. Just me." "Aw, shucks, Mom." Weems brushed his cheek against her arm. Leo knew that Weems, showman inclined, came into the band by approaching the then trio during an open mic competition at the Carey Street Cafe, insisted that they needed a bass player. And so they got one that night. At the proper point of energy in a hot show, Laurel sometimes hopped onto Weems' instrument while she continued to play, never dropping a note. The nimble sense of balance came from her skateboarder pass. The crowd always went nuts. Leo wanted to get to the inner workings, he said, through a method that seemed hokey, and it is, he admitted, by asking each live wire to describe, using a word or brief phrase, their style of music as though to someone who'd never before heard them. That would be almost everybody, Weems deadpan. Carlisle raised a hand. "Excuse me, Mr. Bukowski, but I was told there were no pop quizzes in this class." Leo's belly shook. He beamed. "I don't recall saying that, Miss Montgomery. May I be excused?" The live wires laughed. "No, you may not." Laurel, wide-eyed, picking at her skirt, shook her head. She asked Leo not to make her go first. He went to CP. "This ought to be good," Leo said. CP took a meditative breath that poured the darkness beneath his eyes. He said, "We are experimental and innovative within what some consider traditional. Some of what we do sounds familiar, comfortable. But when you listen, especially with Carlisle and Bruce together, you receive what's not anticipated." Leo nodded and pulled at his beard, giddy. Carlisle joke grumped. "Thanks, CP, that was going to be my answer." CP shrugged, everyone's amusement. Laurel still demurred. Weems took his shot. "I came out of what you'd say was a straight-ahead jazz, a classical background. And what's so incredible about the live wires is we don't do anything straight ahead." Bruce added, "We can't go straight ahead anywhere." The bandmates laughed. "Causes problems getting to gigs," Weems said. CP pinched his temple piece, "and once we get there, too." "Whenever we get gigs," Bruce said. He spoke, and that meant his turn next in the barrel. Bruce scratched his elbow and looked off. He ran a hand through his plentiful blonde hair. We choose our music from the four major food groups. Love, lust, adventure, and regret. Carlisle swore, "That's my line!" "I think it's band property by now." "I think that's fair," Leo said. Laurel, appearing quite worried about a proper response, lifted her eyes. No, not ready yet." Carlisle volunteered. "Freak grass, that's what we play. We are dreamers, lovers, friends, peacemakers, and partiers. We are the live wires. We kick your ass every night." And she jerked her boot out for emphasis. Lower lip turned over her teeth. Left eye squinted as if taking aim. Weems threw an arm over his head to defend to get the impact. Rita Gallagher, who had almost disappeared, caught the instant word. Click. Leo Bukowski said, "That sounds to me more like a manifesto than a description, but I'll take that for later use." We don't use a set list, Laurel at last said, though quiet as though experiencing a revelation. "We get a feel for the audience at the beginning. Carlisle is great at that. She goes through the songs in our repertoire, and we do them, see where they land, and build the sets to suit the mood, and go from there. I played next to Carlisle for years, which gives us a great connection that I think plugs us into an energy that powers our performance choices. And we have these serious, sad songs about history, songs about bad decisions and dying and love gone wrong. We have silly songs and raunchy ones. We have instrumentals that show that we are as individual musicians and how we work together. We do crazy covers." Bruce pretended to cough. "Take a look." Weems followed fist to his mouth. "Uncreep. Man size." Carlisle cleared her throat. Laurel waved off their responses. "What we do together can be pretty, and it can be a riot, and it can be a failure, but we're never boring. And what we do comes out of openness, acceptance, and willingness to jump in and go where the spirit of the sound takes us." She lowered her eyes and resumed picking at her skirt, as though removing invisible crumbs. Leo blinked, scratched behind an ear, and waited for anything more. Carlisle said, "So I guess this interview is over now." The live wires laughed. He gazed at the scrawl on his notepad as though surprised by a form of automatic writing. He grinned. Now this is where it starts getting good."